It was a calm evening in the small town of Oakwood. The sun was setting, and its golden light made the streets glow like a picture from a storybook. Evelyn Harper stood on her front porch, resting her arms on the railing. She looked at her small yard, where grass was growing through the cracks in the walkway, and the paint on the front door was peeling. Even though the house looked old, it was her safe place. Evelyn had just finished a long day cleaning offices. Her body was tired, but her heart was strong. From the kitchen, the smell of spaghetti cooking on the stove drifted outside, mixing with the fresh scent of pine from the nearby park. Evelyn smiled, ready to go inside, when she heard a happy voice. "Mom, look," her little girl Lila called out. Lila ran toward Evelyn, her colorful dress swishing around her, and her curly hair bouncing. In her small hands, something shiny caught the light. "What do you have there, honey?" Evelyn asked, crouching down to Lila's level. "I found it at the park," Lila said, holding up an old leather wallet. It looked worn but strong. "Can we keep it?" Evelyn's chest tightened a little. The wallet might have money inside, which could help them, but she shook the thought away and said, "Let's see what's inside and find out who it belongs to." She gently took the wallet from Lila's hands and opened it. Inside, she saw some cash, cards, and a photo of a man in a nice suit. His blue eyes were bright, even in the faded picture. "This must belong to someone important," Evelyn said softly. "Can we keep the money?" "We could get ice cream," Lila asked, her big eyes shining with hope. Evelyn laughed but felt a little sad. For just a moment, she imagined using the money to make life easier. But she knew it wouldn't be right. "Sweetheart, we can't take something that's not ours," she said gently. "Why not?" "It's like finding treasure," Lila said with a pout. "Because real treasure is doing the right thing," Evelyn said with a warm smile. "We're going to find the owner and return this wallet." "Okay." Lila frowned, but nodded slowly. "What if we can't find him?" she asked. "We'll figure it out," Evelyn promised. "Now let's go finish dinner." Inside, they sat at the table, eating spaghetti and talking about the wallet. Evelyn wondered about the man in the photo. Who was he? How had he lost it? Later, after dinner, Evelyn sat at the kitchen table and took another look inside the wallet. She found a card with the name Victor Hayes and an address. It was in a fancy part of town. "Wow, he lives in a big house," Lila said, peeking over her mom's shoulder. "Can we go see it? Can we meet him?" Evelyn felt nervous about visiting such a rich place, but she knew they had to return the wallet. "We'll go tomorrow after school," she said. Lila clapped her hands. "Can we tell him it was our treasure hunt?" Evelyn chuckled. "Sure, honey, but let's just make sure we get the wallet back to him first." The next morning, Evelyn dropped Lila off at school, then drove toward Victor Hayes' house. The streets became quieter, and small homes were replaced by large mansions. Evelyn's heart raced as she parked in front of Victor's huge house. It had tall trees and a perfect lawn. She stood at the door, feeling nervous. What if he didn't care? What if he was mean? But Lila's hopeful face popped into her mind, giving her courage. Evelyn knocked on the big door. It opened, and there stood the man from the photo, with bright blue eyes. "Can I help you?" he asked, surprised. "I found this," Evelyn said, holding up the wallet. Her voice was calm, even though her heart was pounding. Victor looked at the wallet and gasped. "I can't believe you found it," he said, sounding truly grateful. Evelyn smiled. "It was my daughter Lila. She found it at the park." Victor stepped back and said, "Please come in. I'd like to thank you properly." Evelyn hesitated, but stepped inside. The house was beautiful, with shiny floors and a sparkling chandelier. Victor led her to a cozy living room with soft couches. He looked at the wallet and said, "Thank you so much. This means a lot to me." "It's not just money," Evelyn said. "I'm sure it has memories that can't be replaced." "You're right," Victor said, his voice softer. "Thank you for understanding. Would you like coffee or tea?" he asked. "Coffee sounds great," Evelyn replied. While Victor made coffee, Evelyn looked around the room. She saw shelves full of books and a shiny piano in the corner. It felt like a happy place, but also a little lonely. When Victor came back with the coffee, they talked. Evelyn told him about Lila, her adventures, and how hard it was being a single mom. Victor shared stories about his daughter, Amelia, who had passed away. They both talked about loss and how it's hard to let go. By the time Evelyn left, she felt like she had made a new friend. Victor asked if she and Lila could come for dinner that weekend, and Evelyn said yes. On the day of the dinner, Lila was so excited. She wore a sparkly dress and twirled in front of the mirror. "I feel like a princess," she said. "You are a princess," Evelyn said, smiling. Together, they went to the mansion. Victor welcomed them warmly and told Lila, "You look beautiful." During dinner, they laughed and talked. Lila shared her dreams of being an explorer. Victor listened and said, "I have a telescope if you ever want to look at the stars." Lila's eyes sparkled with excitement as she looked at her mom. "Can we, Mom? Please," she asked eagerly, her small hands clasped together. Evelyn smiled warmly, her heart swelling with happiness at seeing her daughter so thrilled. Lila's joy was what kept her going, even on the toughest days. "Of course, sweetheart. That sounds like a wonderful idea," she replied. They were sitting in the cozy living room of Victor Hayes, a kind man Evelyn had recently met. Victor had invited them over for dinner, and Lila couldn't stop exploring the big, beautiful house. The furniture was fancy, the walls were covered with amazing paintings, and a soft rug made the room feel extra cozy. But even with all the prettiness, Evelyn felt a tinge of sadness in the house. It was so quiet, almost as if it was waiting for something to make it feel alive again. Just then, the delicious smell of food wafted into the room. Victor, who had gone to check on dinner, came back with a tray full of colorful dishes. "Dinner is served," he said with a warm smile as he placed the tray on the coffee table. Evelyn couldn't help but admire the food. There were golden roasted potatoes, bright green vegetables, and a creamy soup that smelled heavenly. "This looks amazing, Victor," she said honestly. Victor smiled shyly. "Thank you. Cooking has always been something I enjoy. It helps me relax and feel at peace." As they began eating, the atmosphere grew even warmer. They shared stories and laughed, their voices filling the once quiet house. It didn't matter that Evelyn and Victor came from different worlds. In that moment, they felt like old friends, just enjoying each other's company. "So, tell me about your life in Oakwood," Victor asked, leaning forward. His eyes showed genuine curiosity. Evelyn took a deep breath. "It's simple," she began. "I work 2 jobs so Lila can have everything she needs. I clean offices during the day and work at a diner in the evenings. It's hard, but Lila keeps me going." Victor nodded, his expression thoughtful. "I admire your strength. Being a single mom must be tough." Evelyn smiled, though a hint of weariness showed in her eyes. "It is, but Lila is worth it. She's my reason for everything." Victor's face softened. "I understand," he said quietly. "I lost someone I loved very much, my wife, Amelia. She was my whole world. Losing her taught me that time is precious and that we need to hold on to the people who matter." The room grew silent as both Evelyn and Victor reflected on their losses. Though their pain was different, it made them feel connected in a special way. Sometimes, sharing sadness could bring people closer together. After dinner, Lila's curiosity got the best of her. She wandered over to the corner of the room, where a shiny black piano stood. She pressed a few keys, creating a funny little tune. "That sounds beautiful," Victor said, his eyes lighting up. "Do you play Mr. Parker?" Lila asked, tilting her head. Victor chuckled softly. "I used to. Would you like me to play something?" "Yes, please," Lila exclaimed, clapping her hands in excitement. Victor sat down at the piano and placed his fingers on the keys. Slowly, he began to play a soft, lovely song. The notes floated through the air, filling the house with warmth and happiness. Evelyn watched in awe. For the first time, she felt the sadness in the house begin to fade, replaced by the beautiful music. When Victor finished, Lila clapped enthusiastically. "That was amazing. You're like a real musician." Victor smiled, his cheeks turning a little pink. "Thank you, Lila. It's been a long time since I played for anyone." Evelyn felt her heart swell as she watched Lila and Victor bond. Maybe, just maybe, this could be the start of something special for all of them. But just as the moment felt perfect, the doorbell rang, breaking the peaceful atmosphere. Victor stood up. "I'll get it," he said, heading to the door. Evelyn's heart raced for no reason she could explain. When Victor opened the door, Evelyn's breath caught in her throat. Standing there was Caleb Morgan, her husband, who had left her and Lila years ago. "Evelyn," Caleb Morgan said, a sly smile playing on his lips. I didn't expect to see you here. Evelyn stood up, trying to stay calm, even though her emotions were swirling inside her. What are you doing here, Caleb Morgan? She asked firmly. Caleb Morgan's eyes darted around the room, taking in the cozy setting. He smirked. Well, Parker. Nice place you've got here. Victor stepped forward, his voice steady and calm. What do you want, Caleb Morgan? Caleb Morgan shrugged, pretending to be casual. Just thought I'd check in on my girls. It's been a while. Evelyn's anger flared. You can't just show up out of nowhere, Caleb Morgan. You left us. You don't get to act like everything's fine. Caleb Morgan held up his hands, as if he were innocent. I'm just trying to make things right, he said smoothly. Evelyn glared at him. You haven't been part of this family for years. Victor stepped closer, standing tall. I think you should leave. Evelyn and Lila are doing just fine without you. Caleb Morgan's smile disappeared, replaced by an angry scowl. Who do you think you are? He demanded. Victor didn't back down. This isn't your home anymore. Evelyn said you need to leave. Caleb Morgan's face darkened. This isn't over, Evelyn, he said before turning and walking away. As the door closed, Evelyn let out a shaky breath. I'm sorry, Victor. I didn't know he'd show up like this. It's not your fault, Victor said gently. You stood up to him, and that's what matters. Lila peeked into the room, looking worried. Why did that man leave? She asked in a small voice. Evelyn knelt down and gave her a reassuring hug. Just grown-up stuff, sweetie. Nothing to worry about. Victor crouched beside Lila and smiled. How about we do something fun, like a treasure hunt in the garden? Lila's face lit up. Really? That sounds so fun. Victor led them outside, where the garden was filled with colorful flowers and twinkling lights. He handed Lila a piece of paper. Here's your first clue, he said with a wink. Lila read the clue aloud and ran to the rose bushes, where she found a tiny bracelet hidden among the flowers. She squealed with joy, and the treasure hunt continued. Each clue led her to another little surprise, like a shiny keychain and a pretty bookmark. Evelyn made a quiet promise to herself. No matter what happened, she would protect the happiness she and her daughter Lila had found. With Victor by her side, she believed they could face anything together. As the sun set, painting the sky with orange and pink, Evelyn felt a spark of hope and strength inside her. This was just the beginning, and she was ready to step into a brighter future. The music box in their home played its gentle tune, and Evelyn realized she wasn't afraid anymore. The garden of possibilities in her life was blooming, and she couldn't wait to see what came next. The following weekend, the small town of Oakwood felt alive. The golden sunlight made everything glow, and the air smelled like blooming flowers. Evelyn felt happier every day, especially when she spent time with Victor and Lila. Their laughter together made her heart feel lighter, helping her let go of the sadness she had carried for so long. After their last adventure, Lila couldn't stop talking about Victor. She loved the music box he had given her. It's my lucky charm now, Mom, she said, winding it up every morning before school to hear its lovely tune. Evelyn smiled at Lila's excitement. But even with so much joy, a small worry lingered in Evelyn's heart. Caleb Morgan, Lila's father, had suddenly shown up in their lives. Just thinking about him made Evelyn nervous. She feared he might ruin the happiness they had worked so hard to find. One sunny afternoon, Evelyn and Lila were at the kitchen table. Sunlight filled their cozy home. Lila was busy coloring a picture of a garden, her face full of concentration. Mom, can we visit Mr. Parker's house this weekend? Lila asked with excitement. Evelyn thought about it for a moment. We can, sweetheart. I think Victor would love to see you again. Yay! Lila cheered, clapping her little hands. Maybe he'll have another treasure hunt for us. Evelyn smiled, feeling Lila's happiness. But just as she was about to say more, the phone rang. She wiped her hands and picked it up. Hello. Hi, Evelyn. It was Victor. His warm voice made Evelyn's heart flutter. I was just thinking about you and Lila. How are you both? We're doing well, Evelyn replied, her smile growing. Lila's busy drawing and dreaming of treasure hunts. Victor laughed softly. She sounds like she's keeping you busy. Would you and Lila like to come over this weekend? I'm planning something I think you'll both enjoy. Evelyn's heart skipped a beat. What are you planning? She asked. A little garden party, Victor said cheerfully. There'll be food, games, and a fun adventure for Lila. Evelyn felt a mix of excitement and nerves. That sounds wonderful. We'd love to come. Great. I'll send you the details soon, Victor said warmly. And Evelyn, thank you for being amazing. It means so much to me. Thank you, Victor, Evelyn said softly. Her heart felt full. I'm so glad we found each other. After hanging up, Evelyn turned to Lila, who was still busy coloring. Guess what? We're going to a garden party at Mr. Parker's house this weekend. Really? I can't wait. Lila jumped up, her curls bouncing. Can I wear my sparkly dress again? Of course, Evelyn said, laughing. You'll look beautiful. The days before the party flew by. Evelyn and Lila prepared with excitement. On Saturday morning, Evelyn braided Lila's hair, weaving in tiny wildflowers. They laughed together, the happy sound filling their home. When they arrived at Victor's house, the garden looked magical. Colorful streamers hung everywhere, and the air smelled like flowers and fresh food. Victor greeted them at the gate, his blue eyes lighting up when he saw them. Welcome. You both look amazing, he said. Thank you, Lila said proudly, adjusting the flower crown on her head. The garden was full of life. Kids played games, and grown-ups chatted happily. A table held delicious snacks and a big, beautiful cake. Lila's eyes grew wide. This is incredible, she exclaimed. Victor knelt beside her, smiling. I'm glad you like it. There's a scavenger hunt later, and a surprise just for you. What is it? Lila asked, practically bouncing with excitement. You'll have to wait and see, Victor teased. As the party went on, Evelyn felt herself relaxing. She watched Lila laugh and play, her heart filling with peace. Victor moved around the garden, making sure everyone felt welcome. Evelyn couldn't stop smiling. But just as she thought the day couldn't get better, a familiar face appeared. Caleb Morgan was there, his confident smirk sending a chill through her. Evelyn's stomach dropped. How had he found them? Lila noticed her mom's worried face. Mom, what's wrong? She asked. Nothing, sweetheart, Evelyn said quickly, trying to hide her fear. Caleb Morgan walked up to her with a fake smile. Hello, Evelyn. I thought I'd find you here. What do you want, Caleb Morgan? Evelyn asked firmly. I just wanted to check on you and Lila, Caleb Morgan said, pretending to care. I heard about the party. Leave us alone, Evelyn said, her voice steady. You're not welcome here. Before Caleb Morgan could say more, Victor appeared beside Evelyn. Caleb Morgan, it's time for you to go, he said calmly. Evelyn and Lila are safe here. Caleb Morgan's fake smile disappeared, replaced by anger. This is a family matter, he said sharply. Family? Victor replied. You lost it right a long time ago. Respect their boundaries. Caleb Morgan glared at Victor, then stormed off. Evelyn let out a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. Are you okay? Victor asked gently. Evelyn nodded. Thank you for standing up for us, she said, her voice full of gratitude. Always, Victor said. You and Lila are my priority. Lila tugged on Evelyn's hand. Mom, can we play now? She asked. Yes, let's go find some treasure, Evelyn said, smiling again. Together, they joined the scavenger hunt, laughing as they uncovered hidden treasures. Lila held up a shiny rock. Look, Mom, a sparkly stone. It's beautiful, sweetheart, Evelyn said, feeling proud. As the sun set, Victor brought out a surprise for everyone, colorful kites. Lila picked a blue kite with fluffy clouds. Can we fly it now, Mom? She asked. Of course, Evelyn said. They ran to an open field, their kites soaring high in the golden sky. Victor flew a kite too, smiling at Evelyn. This is perfect, he said. Evelyn's heart felt full. Thank you, Victor, she said. You've brought so much joy into our lives. It's easy to feel happy with you too, Victor replied. As they watched Lila run across the field, Evelyn realized she wasn't afraid anymore. Caleb Morgan's visit had shaken her, but it also made her stronger. She had a future filled with love, hope, and a little girl's laughter. When the party ended, Lila hugged Evelyn. Can we come back tomorrow, Mom? This was the best day ever. Of course, sweetheart, Evelyn said, smiling at Victor. His presence made her feel safe and strong. Together, they walked into the night, ready for whatever came next. If you enjoyed this story and would like to see more content like it, I encourage you to subscribe to my channel. By subscribing, you'll stay updated on all our latest, inspiring, and heartwarming stories and have the opportunity to engage with our growing community. Additionally, I would love to hear your thoughts and feedback in the comment section below. Thank you for your support, and I look forward to sharing more captivating narratives with you.